Welcome to Chad the Home Care Guy. Real conversations about aging, home care, and the decisions families face every day. Hosted by Chad Fisher, founder of Avail Home Care. Because caring for the people you love shouldn't be confusing. Let's get started.
All right, guys. Hi, it's Chad the Home Care Guy with Avail Home Care, and I'm back with another episode with Brittany Bulla, who is with Accent Care Hospice. So we're going to learn a little bit today about her and a little bit about hospice, and we'll jump right into it. Welcome.
Let's do it. Thank you.
All right. Tell me a little bit about yourself. You know the drill.
I have been in the elder care world for about 8 years, give or take. Started from caregiver, med tech, wellness director. I've launched a few restaurants that were very popular around the area.
Oh, cool.
So I've definitely done my fair share of trying to figure out what it is that I wanted to do in life.
Yeah.
And once I got into the ALF world, it really did a different number on me. It really shows you when you have a passion for something, because it's like you fuel to do it. You wake up and like know that you're making a difference.
Yeah. We get that. I get that every day. I had no clue coming from classic cars and hot rods and all the things I was doing before this. You get this instant gratification when you do something on building a car, or do something like that.
100%.
But then other jobs, you look at the other jobs and maybe it's not as instant gratification. You don't get that as much. And then, jumping into this world, in the senior world, it's like, oh, you're touching someone's life.
Exactly.
So
you're making a difference.
You're making
it's
a
an
difference,
impact,
and
for
it's a
sure.
huge impact.
Yeah.
And the fact that more people aren't in it is amazing. It's like almost like they just don't know it, or I'm not sure what we need to do to bring more people in. Hopefully podcasts like this, things like this are, will jumpstart people's career to jump into it, because it's underserved.
It is.
And so the silver tsunami is here. The population is huge, and we just don't have enough people going into the field that we're in.
Yeah,
So,
I agree.
and your field is interesting because, we've worked a lot with hospice, and, I think it's something that people don't understand. There's a slight stigma to it, I believe.
There is.
It's a little bit of an end of life only type thing. But for families who may only know the word hospice from TV or something like that, can you explain a little bit about, what it really is and when's the right time that they should be considering hospice?
Sure. That's like a hospice myth, we like to call it, is people think that hospice is that you're going to be dying in the next couple of days type of thing.
Yeah.
And that's realistically not what it is. At the end of the day, hospice is more on that comfort care rather than curative measures.
Yeah.
So when you're peaceful and you're at peace with what is going to happen, nature runs its course, and you're ready to just live your life how you want it to be lived, spiritually, emotionally, socially, that's when we step in.
Yes.
We give you that extra support. We put our hands around you and your family, and we give you that extra comfort, the care, the quality of life is a really big thing that hospice makes a difference on.
Yeah.
And for families that are not aware that it has come and basically graduated so much in the last 15 years, so to speak, there's been a lot of changes, right? You basically can dictate your own care. We're not pulling you away from your doctors. We're not pulling you away from things that you still want. Yeah. You get a say in what you want to do, and that's what we advocate for.
Yeah, even home care, we complement each other. There's a lot of times where hospice is in there, and they're asking for home care as well, because they really do want to age in place and go through the motions all the way through being at home. Of course, we cover, just like you do, wherever home may be.
Exactly.
But it really is incredible to be able to work hand in hand, and people just don't understand how much they can get from you guys and how much of a benefit.
Of course. And, I think a big thing that I really want to project out to families and other healthcare workers is the collaborations that make the difference in the families and their experiences in that end of life transition.
Yeah.
So when they understand that hospice is not just a comfort measure, it's a resource.
Right.
It's services that are available to you and your family. It's resources that are able to help you proceed through those next steps, right?
Yeah.
If we are not able to provide that just like you said, home health might be able to, or a wound care company might be able to, or it's a, I had a great example, honestly, of a person that we brought onto services, but they needed a wheelchair ramp. And the guy wasn't having a quality of life. He wanted to see outside and couldn't. He was stuck at a window.
Oh,
and he really just wanted to sit outside in his driveway.
Yeah.
That was his request, right? Yeah. And guess what? Hospice had the resources to get with a person who built them a ramp.
Yep.
And it was a success story. And that family is going to remember hospice as being that resource.
Yeah, absolutely. And we do that all the time as well. We have clients that we start taking on, and we realize that we're doing a great service by coming in and being with them with a caregiver. But
Yeah.
we try and put everything in play, including finding you guys if it's, something that's
Right.
needed. But like you said, stuff in the home, all kinds of, in your shower, if you need rails, you
Right.
need all these different things.
Yeah.
We come in and we do a full survey and find out we can help in more than just
Exactly.
personal care.
Exactly.
We can help you all the way with everything you need.
Right.
And I think that's,
It's building
that makes a difference.
A care plan.
Yeah.
Right.
It makes
it's
a difference.
Building something that's going to adapt to your family, your loved one, your home, your environment. What's going to make your quality of life that much more peaceful, so that you can know, I smile, I have a great day, I have my dignity intact, and I have a team behind me that supports me, understands my needs, and is hearing me, listening to me, and valuing that.
Yeah.
And that's important.
No, that's great. Can you walk us through a little bit of what kind of support your team offers, from nurses, maybe social workers, any volunteers?
Yes.
What's that look like per family, per client?
So that's like our circle of care. We have a lot involved in that. We have, just like you said, RN case managers that pop in. We can go from once a week to every day if needed.
Okay.
We have an awesome program. It's an AI program. It's called Muse, MUSE, and it's a very strategic and compassionate tool. I speak very highly on it. Why? Because a lot of family members, and it's not just the ones in the home. If you're lucky enough to be in home aging in place, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
For the people that are in ALFs or nursing homes, the big deal is that sometimes those family members are away.
Yep.
They're out of town, they're out of the area, they're out of state. And those last minute chances to come in and be bedside and make those last minute memories are usually non-existent when you have a family member that's out of town.
Yeah.
So the Muse program detects every time a clinical team member, social worker, nurse goes in. We plug in all of these clinical stats and we come up with, is the patient going to be declining fast? What's happening? What's occurring? And it has about a 90% accuracy rate within a 7 to 10 day window to judge when a patient is going to be passing away.
Really?
So that opportunity is drastic for not just the healthcare workers, professionals who are involved in really placing their hands on these loved ones and taking extra care, coming into those extra visits and more support once we know that time is coming.
Yep.
But it's also an amazing tool to bring those families and say, hey, now is your time.
Right.
Come down from your travels, make some plans, make some arrangements.
Yeah. It's forecasting.
You
guys are
cautious of your time, because that's all you can never get back.
Yeah.
So those bedside moments that really connect that piece to say, we are here for you. We're providing support for you.
Yep.
So those are really awesome tools that the company has. We also have a great music therapy program.
Oh yeah. Talk about that.
Music therapy.
I've heard a little bit about it. So
it's a wonderful opportunity, right?
I actually met somebody when you guys opened up in Dunedin. You guys had a grand opening in a facility
at our IPC center.
Yes, and so she was there, and so I got to chat with her a little bit. My son's in guitar, so she had her guitar
Mine is too, right?
And they were, she was doing her thing, and I was like, this is the coolest field that nobody seems to know about
at all.
And it's incredible.
Right.
So, yeah, sorry.
That's
talk
okay.
about that for a minute.
I love it.
It's super cool.
So the music therapy concept of it is to help with when you're feeling very tense, when you're having agitation, irritations. So it's social.
Yeah.
Maybe. I think that's the word for it. So it's a psychosocial.
We're not cutting that out. We're going. We're going to call it that.
It's fine. All I know how to do is talk about hospice. No big words attached. So it's a psychosocial. So it really helps with manipulating the body, easing the tension. It can actually really help with Alzheimer's, dementia patients, people that are having that agitation, and it calms them, right? Let's talk about memories.
Yeah.
How many times do you play a song for somebody, or you yourself, you can be in the car riding along and a song comes on and it puts you in that spot immediately. It makes you think of a person, a particular moment, sad, happy, whatever. Those memories come back full force when you see that and when you hear that. There's people that have been nonverbal that are up and actually moving and stimulated when they hear a song from their generation that maybe really impacted them and puts that smile on their face. People that you don't have engagements with. I've seen multiple transitions, crossings, crossovers, so to speak, where our music therapist has been able to be bedside with these patients, with their families, singing songs that are going to be forever their last memory.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And it is really an amazing, touching opportunity to have, not only for the patient and their peace, their comfort, right? It's most important for you to be comfortable and have that impact on yourself, but the family. We really embrace that family dynamic. We want to know that, we want everybody to know that you are also part of our circle. Yeah. We're not here to just support your loved one, but you in this time of impact. Yeah. So having those songs, the bridges, the transitions are going to allow you those last minute memories to know your loved one was at peace. You were bedside with these beautiful memories. That's amazing. Music therapy is definitely a very touching one that I love to pieces.
Now, is that something that someone has to ask for? How does the music therapist know where to go?
Good question. So when we do an initial interview, so to speak, with the families, engagements, when we do the initial evaluation, we sit down with the families, and myself personally, I engage with them. Okay. What do they like? What interests them? Are they a person who is going to respond to music? Are they a person who's going to respond to our chaplain more? Yeah. We send out a chaplain if that's the case, if they're spiritual in whatever beliefs, we can have a chaplain come. So if music therapy is something that the family feels or the patient himself or herself feels would benefit, they're getting that. And upon my evaluation, I'm going to put in there a few songs or artists that they really like, just so that our music therapist has that backstory, right? Yeah. Because that's another thing, like you said, going back to a couple questions ago, when do you know when to call hospice? You kind of don't, right? Sometimes it could be too early and sometimes it could be too late. But if we have that insight ahead of time, we're able to go out there, find out your backstory, get to know about you a little bit more, what situations are looking like, what has your decline changed about your life, and then we can engage in next steps and opportunities. So it's really like a well-rounded wheel. Yeah. So upon nurses and social workers who go in to check environments for people that are aging in place at home, making sure it's safe for them to be there. If we need to find placement opportunities, we're there to help for that as well. Yeah. We have the chaplain, like I touched on, music therapy, and I think a really big thing, like you said, is our volunteer program. Yes. We do a lot in our volunteer programs. I'll touch on two real quick. Yeah. We do a legacy projects. So it's a really wonderful, touching opportunity. This is personal to me. Yep. My father passed away in May, and I was denied the ability to have a fingerprint for him. Oh, wow. So that impacted me a lot. Yeah, I bet. I feel like at that moment, it was ripped. Right. The opportunity was ripped out. I have two small children. I feel like they would have loved a necklace or something with his fingerprint, his legacy behind, on top of everything else, of course. Right. But I felt like that fingerprint was a really big part of me that got denied. And I came back from work in May, about 5 days after his passing, and I got a phone call unexpectedly from a facility. Hey, our patient's declining very rapidly, unexpectedly. Families at bedside. I know you asked them in the beginning if they wanted a legacy project. They denied it, but now they changed their mind and they want it. Oh, cool. Right? Nothing serves me more than to drop everything that I'm doing.
You're going to make sure that happens for everyone else now.
Make sure that happens. Yeah. Not only personally because of my story, but because I can make that change in somebody else's life. Yep. And that is what this line of work is all about. And if you don't have that hospice heart,
Yes.
the experience is not going to be set
be
aside and set
That's
different.
right.
So
Yep.
I went there, I got the fingerprints, and the family was, I can't even tell you the
I'm sure
impact
they were
it made on
ecstatic,
them.
yeah.
So it's little moments like that and little opportunities we make. We take pieces of clothing, turn it into bears, dogs, cats, pillows, whatever tickles your fancy. So we can make it anything. So it's custom because it's a piece of clothing that you're familiar with. The shirt, the pants you had, the blanket you laid around with forever.
Yeah.
And we can turn that into something that is a keepsake for you forever.
That's cool.
Our second biggest one that I'll just touch on is our NODA program. No One Dies Alone.
Oh,
it's a great opportunity because
one I don't know of yet.
We have our volunteers that can come sit bedside for the patients that are unfortunate, less fortunate to not have any family.
Oh,
and so that they are not passing alone. We have a volunteer.
Have it all.
We do.
I'm
very proud to work for the company that I work for. We have a lot that I don't think a lot of people know about.
Yeah, I mean, that's new to me. A few things have been new to me that haven't known, and obviously, thanks for putting a piece of that story out there for everybody. I know that's hard, so thank you for that.
It makes a big impact. Prior to my father passing, I had the hospice heart to begin with, but I think dealing with a death for the first time in my own personal experience, it really impacts you on a different level. And I feel like my mission going forward for everything that I do, going into the future, is to make sure I make that change that I wish I had the ability to have.
Well, that's awesome, and I appreciate that effort. It's great. Let's touch a little bit on caregivers, home caregivers, not our caregivers. They're exhausted. Most of them, I'm sure, just like we get the call, most of these family members and loved ones are extremely exhausted. And when they make that call to you guys, what does that look like? Are they, I think one of the things that we don't take serious enough is when we come in, we have this mission to want to take care of this person, right? And meanwhile, there's this loved one who made that phone call because they've been doing this job the whole time before we got there.
Right.
Kudos to them, because it's an easy burnout. It happens fast. And I'm glad that people make that call to either one of us.
Yeah.
But I think there's also a little piece of that maybe some people don't recognize, and really they should. We try to, but that's this feeling of maybe the caregiver guilt, and are they giving up? How do you guys see that, first off, and then how do you handle that? Is that a social worker that then you bring in to kind of figure that out a little bit? Because I think it's big. It's great to be able to take care of people. I love to take care of people. This is our mission, right? But maybe sometimes we do need to look and step back for a second and be like, hey, there's probably some mental things that are going to happen here.
Of course.
This family member is already exhausted as can be, but we don't want them to feel like they gave up on their loved one. I want them to feel like they just tagged another teammate in so that they could take a break.
Of course.
So
I'm big on collaborating.
Yeah.
So along with having home health partners that can step in, our home health aides that are also available, it is a social worker that comes in and identifies, right? We do offer 13 months of bereavement to the families as well, because going again, we're here to support not only the patient, but the family, but we also offer an amazing respite program.
Okay.
So especially for the people that are home, the caregiver is burnt out. They are going because they feel like a failure if they stop. And that is just not it, right?
Yep.
We have to give grace on ourselves.
Absolutely.
On our loved ones.
And it's hard to do. When you're in the trenches and you're doing this for someone you love.
Yeah. You'll stop at nothing.
That's right. You'll kill yourself.
Yes. But you can't help someone else if you're not pouring into your own cup.
Yeah, I agree.
Learning that,
I like that.
Throughout the years of my own self, being a mom of two, it's very hard and difficult. And we do get down on ourselves for not doing enough. We can do more. Let's go.
Yep.
Right. But at the end of the day, we have to make sure that we're taking care of ourselves so that we can help our loved ones. So with respite stays, it is free through hospice program. And what we do is our social workers will go in and identify that caregiver burnout.
That's good.
If it's something that's more long-term, maybe it's a higher level of care, maybe that patient is going down a little faster than expected, we try to engage with community partners, you guys, anybody who can come in and help with more of a long-term solution if that's what's identified. If it's a short-term solution, maybe the caregiver just needs a few hours of sleep, maybe a day to themselves, maybe they need a few doctor's appointments for themselves. Everybody has things that they have to take care of on their own. So respite is you get to stay at our IPC center where you found our music therapy and amazing. Cool. So it's a 14-bed facility, nice, calm, quiet, serene, 24/7 nursing care environment. So it's basically what I like to say is a hospital for hospice patients. So you don't have all those bright lights and crazy people commotion going on. You can stay comfortable and peaceful, and your loved one can have up to 5 days of their own time for them to get caught up with their life. You know, so that maybe that burnout does go away. They're recharging their own battery.
That's what they're
giving themselves what they need to continue to push forward. So we do have that opportunity. And like I said, in this industry, we're all here for the same exact reason. Patient care.
That's right.
What is best for them.
That's right.
So when we do have amazing community partners and people that we are able to transfer resources with and engage in, we're helping each other, yes, but we're helping that patient and that family to make that difference in their lives. Because at the end of the day, if they don't know the resources available, they're going to burn out. And then they're going to feel stuck. And so our company does have a lot of, like I said, the resources and things to allow those caregivers to know this is our short-term plan. This can be our long-term plan. Let's figure out how to get.
No, I think that's great. And like the old saying goes, it takes a village.
It does.
It really
does.
Taking care of people, it's really what it boils down to. Can you describe a little bit of the levels of hospice care as far as, let's say someone is not at that last moment yet? How early can you get hospice coming to see you?
So I would always say call to get an evaluation. It's free. Okay. So we always want to bring on services earlier rather than later. But those level of services, I mean, in sort of a dynamic of things is it's not just for cancer patients. It's not just for people who are terminally ill. It's for the people that have COPD, for the people that have Alzheimer's, dementia. There's a lot of progressions that take place in those diseases that happen within a month, within 3 months. So realistically, the signs to look for: sleeping more, eating less, not being, involved or aroused, stimulated, not participating in things that once made you happy. So those are really the signs that we're going to look for preterm. So maybe that's something that's happening that we can keep an eye on. So
anyone listening, I hope you hear that. Maybe you're out there right now watching this podcast and you're wondering about hospice and when to trigger. I mean, this is perfect scenario of it doesn't have to be at the last minute. You need to start looking for these early signs.
Right? And I think the biggest reason of why that is so important is to better your care plan. Because just like you just said, Chad, if you're 6 months prior and you already have had that burnout, by the time you get to us, you're hopeless. And that end of life experience for not only you, but the patient is going to change and be impacted because you have been frustrated and troubled and are very overwhelmed. So let's get to you prior to that happening. Those signs, those detections, especially when you're having maybe breathing issues, maybe things that are just not going well for you anymore are signs. And I think a lot of the times as well, I hear a lot in this industry that the falls are a big impact. Oh, my loved one's unstable on their feet. They're falling. I can't help them get into the shower. I'm nervous that they're going to fall and break a hip.
It's the ones we get all the time. Falling is...
And it's very common, huge. Right? So how do we avoid that? We order medical equipment. That can come to your home or what you consider home, your ALF, your nursing home, and we can order you that medical equipment for free.
Yeah.
So those
safe.
walkers to keep you safe, the bedside commodes, the hospital beds with the rails and the air supports and the cushions for the wound care. So there's a lot of details that go into what hospice can provide early on to help with the comfort of not only the caregiver, but the patient themselves.
Right. Is there any point in time where hospice is not allowed? And I'm alluding to maybe they're on another service or doing something else. Is there a time where you guys are not allowed to go in yet? And
right.
I know the answer, but I want you to tell them because I had to learn that early on.
Right. That's a great question. So hospice is covered through Medicare.
Okay.
And Medicare will not allow two of the same services. So basically, if you're doing physical therapy and hospice, they just don't go hand in hand. So the care plan for hospice, again, is more for that comfort and not curative.
Right.
So if you are doing something that could possibly enhance or prolong, we want you to finish that first.
Okay.
So that's when we have those great community resources come back and say, hey, let's go ahead and keep you on home health for a little bit longer. See if you can, benefit from that skilled nursing just a little bit longer. See if you can benefit from a caregiver coming in, doing more physical therapy.
Yeah.
I think a lot of the times too, there's a few wound cares nowadays that work with billing through Medicare Part B, totally over the heads of most people. But there are certain scenarios and companies that we can work with. But most of the time, it's a private pay company. As long as you're private pay, we can work hand in hand.
Yeah, that's great. And goes back to, it takes a village. This is just something that's happening before you guys actually take them on.
Yeah.
They're with another service trying to also still get better.
Yeah.
And then if there's a point where that ends, at least they have another option where they can now come in and take on your services. So just another stop in the village.
And a lot of the times that's how it goes, right? We'll get these referrals and they're like, well, right now I'm doing home health. It ends next week. My loved one isn't really participating. They're going to discharge them off the services, and then we get that impact where some of the families want them to continue, but the patient's like, I'm done.
Right.
I just want to sit on my couch. So there's a lot of dynamics, right? Ever in question about if your loved one is eligible or able to start hospice services, call us. We send a nurse out. Sometimes it's going to be myself. I service this whole area. We are Quad County. Okay. So we do Hernando, Hillsborough, Pasco, Pinellas. I believe we're in 280 facilities nationwide. So we're growing a lot, and it's because of the need for. There's just a lot of help, and it's come a long, long way since that death sentence that people like to, put the stigma on.
Yeah,
it is. It's not that anymore.
Absolutely.
And, that it's definitely rewarding to know that we can get this information out there to people who truly need it.
Last but not least, how can people in our local community get involved, whether it's a volunteer or a referral partner? What can they do to get in touch with you guys?
Volunteers are always welcome here. We do the process. You can reach out to me. I will send you over to our volunteer coordinator. We'll fill out some paperwork, make sure you can pass the level 2 background check that's required. And we have amazing opportunities for volunteers if you're ever wanting to service in that type of field and industry. It makes a big impact on a lot of people.
That's pretty much it. I just want to make sure that people knew where to go.
How to reach out to us. So you can contact Accent Care at 727-270-9800 and go over what you're experiencing, what you're interested in, ask for somebody to be sent out to you. Could be lucky and it could be me.
That's right.
And we'll help you from there.
All right, cool. Well, this has been great. I appreciate you coming on the Chad the Home Care podcast.
I love this for you too.
That's awesome.
Great opportunity. Great. Very, 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 very awesome to see everybody else's podcast and gain all the knowledge of what everybody else is also doing. It makes a difference.
Yeah, I think it really does. I think as this grows, more people will start to watch and really get an idea of how our industry works, what the resources are that they have out there. And it's more getting to know you guys and the people that are out there that are doing this good work for these great companies. But to be a great company, you have to have great people. So kudos to you. I think I've
Thank
learned
you.
a lot today as well, and I appreciate you coming on.
Thank you.
Once again, everybody, this is Chad the Home Care Guy podcast, and we are with Brittany from Accent Care Hospice, and I hope you guys learned something. So until next time, we'll see you guys.